Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flick Show. My name is Chris Wong. Um, decided to do a audio podcast today. My voice is a little bit hoarse because I think I am coming down with something, which is unfortunate. I have quite a bit things to do tonight and tomorrow night, so I wanted to put this out real quick. And this is involving the DCEU. The fandom is very awesome today. I gotta say, shout out to John Aaron Garza and Tony Jam. They put together. This was Tony's idea, but execution wise, got all the videos to John, and John collected a whole bunch and was able to make a fantastic, just oh my god, gushing with emotions video of the Release the Snyder Cut fandom. I mean, it's almost documentary level, autobiography level, stuff you see, stuff you'll cry. But I got really emotional. It gave me goosebumps, especially with the Hans Zimmer score. And I am blown away, John. I am amazing. I am so glad that I didn't take up the task of actually editing. I'm so glad you offered your services, and I'm so glad I gave it to you, because it's amazing. And I want everybody to share it. I want everybody to tag all the media if they could. If you've got time, I've already done it. But tag them, the Hollywood Reporter, Variety, Deadline. I forgot to do Deadline. All these different sites, even Wall Street Journal. I even tagged Ben Fritz so that maybe he'll include it in his article. Hopefully that article is positive. But anyway, this video, this tribute, I hope Zack Snyder sees. I hope he sees it and sees how much, like he doesn't already know, that the entire world, the fandom of the world, this is just a fraction of us that are presented in this video, but amazing work. And I cannot help but feel super happy and super hopeful for this. And I'm just to see you guys' faces. I've seen you on Twitter and I see you in the comments, but to see you guys' faces and having the same positivity and the same feelings of wanting to see Zack Snyder's work and for the love and everything, it gives me great joy. And it gives, a lot of people great joy. And I'm so happy that everybody is in this together. And I think we could really do something here. I mean, just to the point that Wall Street Journal has contacted a few of us about our fandom, about our movies, not just one single person that started ours. Every single person that Zack Snyder's visionary directed work has touched is in this work. And I cannot be any more happy to see us put together. Our voices are being heard. And I hope it continues on until, Warner Brothers addresses it finally. So hopefully that comes to fruition. I really do hope so. But, it doesn't stop it there. Amazingly, today has been pretty, it could be kind of hilarious today. I mean, it was for Batman News. He actually wrote an article about the Wall Street Journal contacting fans. I'm glad he called me a fan and not a heretic. But he called, and he talked about how the Wall Street Journal and things like that. And I'm in my car right now, so I can't see what it actually said. But something ticked Jay Oliva off, and he went at it, called him like not a good news site or not doing his job and stuff like that. It's incredible. It's entertaining. And I think in Jay Oliva's right, he was pretty much clustering all these different sites, blog sites who put out clickbait material, and he's addressing kind of all of them. But he turned all that to BatmanNews.com, right? So Batman News, they put out some negative stuff and positive stuff. I mean, it's like kind of flip-flop around, but they addressed it, and I think they apologized, so that was cool. And then they put out a positive piece about Release the Snyder Cut afterwards, so that's cool. But Jay Oliva has been pretty outspoken there. He pretty much says Snyder Cut does exist. Snyder Cut does exist. Everybody keeps saying Snyder Cut doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. but it does exist. The question is what form? And I am very happy, okay, that Mario Robles from Revenge of the Fans had brought himself to want to open that discussion, open that conversation with Jay. He reached out, he talked to Jay like a real reporter to get down to the nitty and gritty and not just based on assumptions and his own sources. Jay is willing to talk, so he went right to him to ask him questions, and instead of just bullying the fandom to saying that we're crazy or something, or at least try to have a discussion or conversation about what we really want. And I'm glad he did that. I really think that shows some integrity, and I think that's a good thing for Mario to do, and I'm happy that Jay, I'm sure him and Jay talked about things that they could not discuss openly, and I believe so, but at least to the point that we, in fact, most of us do know that the Snyder Cut is possibly at least the last time that Jay has seen it was not finished. So we know that. I mean, it's kind of hard to do hashtag please finish and release the Snyder Cut. You know, it's a little catchy. It's a more catchier to do hashtag release the Snyder Cut. I believe so. So we know that. We don't, to right now, 7 months later, not sure what form it is. Jay doesn't think Zack Snyder may be working on it. We don't know. Zack Snyder has not said a thing, not said a word. But from the last thing that Jay saw, it wasn't quite finished, which is fine. And a lot of people don't mind that. They don't mind the work in progress cut, right? But there are also fans that want the finished material too. So there's two things there. One is, if Warner Brothers is not going to invest in it, then yeah, work in progress cut, sure. But unless Warner Brothers is investing in it, and where people said they're not going to do it, that's logically, sure. Logically, they may not invest in it because they already spent so much money on Justice League. The original crew, of course. Now, I'm not saying I know anything. I'm just leaving the question open-ended, because we don't know what Warner Brothers wants. They have not said a thing. We're only hearing from bloggers. We're only hearing from, lower tiered scoopers. We've not heard anything remotely official from Warner Brothers, and that's why I cannot wait to hear what Wall Street Journal has to say. Because I know in my other video where I was talking about, I was a little worried about what Wall Street Journal was going to say, right? You heard me say that. I'm worried about that. But I got to thinking, and as I was talking to Mr. Everett, Benjamin, and John over on podcast. By the way, I did a joint podcast with DC Films Hub. Thank you guys for inviting me to your show. But I did that, so listen to that radio. And I was feeling better, and I was talking to other people who were going to be interviewed. I was feeling a little bit more better. And looking at the articles that Ben Fritz has done, I feel even more better. It didn't look like he made any hit pieces. He doesn't do negative opinionated spins. It looks like he gets facts and he talks about it in conjunction with official press releases or official wording from Warner Brothers or from other studios. So he is a legit firm. Like he's not a blogger. It is an actual newspaper article. So that's a good thing. That is a good thing. That's a positive thing. And so, to my eyes, looking at the articles he makes, he's going to look for the facts. And I like that. I think I like that. And I think it could be a good thing. But like I said on Twitter, brace for the worst, but hope for the best. And that's all we can do. It's out of our hands in a way. We should still champion it. We can still say things about Release the Snyder Cut. We've got one tomorrow, but this time it's Suicide Squad. Vinol 7 and Fiona had put together another event for this movement about Suicide Squad. and a love for Suicide Squad. And I know he even put hashtag release the Ayer cut. Although let's keep it baby steps and let's focus on the Snyder cut. But you know, in a way, Ayer was part of it. He also got his hand slapped. He also got his film cut up. The only difference is that he not admitted, but he came out to the public and said that the movie that he released in the theaters, he compromised. He compromised for sure. He played nice, and so he wanted to back that up and say, the movie I released in theaters was my cut. But we know now that's not the case. And then so maybe later, But Release the Snyder Cut is truly something. I mean, I know it's a lot of people. It could be just they want to see the Snyder Cut. They didn't get the satisfaction to do with the Justice League and stuff. But it seems to be turning out into something much greater, and it has to do with the directors nowadays. I know there's not a lot of people that like Last Jedi. I don't care for Last Jedi, but Rian Johnson made the movie he wanted to make. Although I still think that Canto Bite was like a Kathleen Kennedy thing. Like, it feels so awkward and out of place from the entire movie. Like, it felt like somebody else arranged that to happen. So that's just my opinion on that. Rian Johnson may play ball with Disney and say that was his, but I'm just thinking everything else seems more Rian Johnson than that scene. But Rian Johnson made the film he made, and then you got to respect that. That was arranged by producers. If you're gonna be mad at The Last Jedi, you gotta be mad at the people that agreed with him to make that movie. But the Warner Brothers had agreed with Zack Snyder to make Zack Snyder's movie. Paramount Pictures agreed with Christopher McQuarrie to make that movie. Darren Aronofsky, Steven Spielberg, even though Steven Spielberg probably has more say in the matter than anything else. David Ayer, Stephen DeKnight, I'm just naming names now. A lot of people, just a tons of people who had movies that the studios agreed on, and they went out to make it, and then for whatever reason, creative differences clashed, like Edgar Wright and Kevin Feige, and all of a sudden they had to change their movie and stuff. I think this Snyder Cut movement is important to not only Zack Snyder, to not only us fans, but I think it's really important to show that a director's vision that was agreed upon from the beginning, and any director that worked like months, 7 months, or even a year, or even how long they took to make that, and all of a sudden a studio changes up on the last minute when they agreed upon something. It shows some integrity to all studios that they can't let that happen. They can't. You agreed on it, you do that. And I know people are going to say, well, it's the studios, they're going to do that. Yeah, sure. But as a director, would you want to work for a studio that you may end up having to shelve everything because they didn't like it, because they didn't like it all of a sudden because they were, for some reason, even though they agreed upon what their material was? If the director changed it up, then yeah, there's something to say there. If the director lied in an agreement and said this was the movie I make, and then he starts making, that's not the movie we agreed upon, sure. That's bad. That's on the director. But if the director was doing what you guys agreed on, you guys got to do it. You agreed on it. So, and my God, you put his name on it. You put his name on something that wasn't his, anymore. And that can't happen from here on on. It can't happen to all other directors. And I'm sure every director would see that and say, you know what? He deserves to get his vision out because he worked so hard on it, right? People deserve to see what he intended to make. And people deserve to see what the directors intended to make. Imagine this happened to Patty Jenkins, or the new future Kathy Yan, James Wan, even Ava DuVernay. Anybody who's making short films right now. You tell me if you would be happy if someone told you, after you agree to make something and your producer tells you, you know what, change all that. I don't like how that's going. I changed my mind. Would you be upset? I know I would, because I was. I went through a couple of those, and I'm sure you'd be upset. Some may play ball, sure. Some may says, you know what, whatever, you're the producer, do whatever you want. Doesn't that take away a little bit of your passion, though? Doesn't that take away a little bit of your vision? Take away a little bit of yourself reflected? You know, when you're making a film, when you're making art, when you're making a painting, when you're making music, when you're making food, you know, that's yours. That's your inner selves. That's your spirit. That's your soul. You're putting into that piece of work, and that piece of work that love will show. When it's shown to completion, shown to how you want it to show it, that's your work, that's your vision, you know? And that's a sad thing when that doesn't happen. It's totally a sad thing. I work with chefs a lot, and I know that they always get angry at their restaurant managers and stuff. And a lot of these chefs, you know, they work for hotels and stuff, and when they don't get their way, they go off and make their own kitchen, because they feel they deserve to make the food they want to make. It's nothing different from making a movie. I mean, of course, there's a lot of different, but the idea of it, the idea of creation, creating, the idea of artistic flair, or idea of artistic vision, you know. And I think the Snyder Cut movement, out of all that, it's a lot about that. It's a lot about his work and how much he's gone through, especially his daughter. You know, sad, terribly sad. And you know, I just recently learned from John that he had lost his daughter, so I feel very bad for that. I can't imagine any of my kids losing any of my boys. But I mean, all this Snyder Cut movement, it started off with not seeing what it was, what Justice League. And for a lot of people, I still get that. Maybe for you, it's just trying to get a different Justice League movie. And maybe that's why I'm making so much videos of it, because it just reminds me of all the things I've been through. Even that, you know, finally running my own business, because I've done marketing pushes and things that bosses don't like, and they wanted to do old-fashioned way, and it's just frustrating. So it says, you know what, I'm gonna run my own. And it could be for a lot of people right now. I mean, you go to work, you listen to your boss, maybe you had a great idea, and maybe that great idea would have worked, but you know, your boss telling you, no, we don't like that idea, that's not the way to do it. I'm not saying to go out right now and not listen to your bosses. You still need a job. But if you are at that moment where you feel like you are confident in what you're saying and what you're doing, then go and do it, you know. And I know this is getting really off topic, but for me, that's what it means to me. The Snyder Cut movement has gone farther than I've ever expected to, and I don't know what we're gonna hear on the week of Comic-Con. I am very eager to know what Warner Brothers intends to do with this movement, if at all. And I believe they do, if they got Wall Street Journal involved, if they did. I feel like it is. I don't think it's an opinion piece at all, but I feel like there's something coming. And whether it's good or bad, like I said, brace for the worst, hope for the best. But please continue supporting Release the Snyder Cut movement, and let's just get an answer at this point. Let's get an answer. Let's get something out of Warner Brothers and the people in charge, or the new people in charge, actually, not the old regime, but the new regime, to tell us, not apologize. We don't need an apology. We already know you messed up. That's why you did all the firing. That's why you changed it all up. But we just need to have some kind of statement. And like in Donner Cut days, Warner Brothers gave out a statement. They did. They really did. They actually gave out a written statement that voices were heard. We should be expecting someone pretty soon. So that's it. I just wanted to get this out because I probably won't be able to make a video tonight or tomorrow, because I've got a lot of things coming up for me in my own business. But I wanted to share this with you, and I just wanted to share my love for that video today, Heroes Tribute. That was Heroes Fight. That was a great video, and I urge you guys to watch that. I urge you guys to watch that and know that you are not alone in this. If you truly want something, you have to go and get it. And right now we are getting our voices heard. We're making lots of noise now, and people are recognizing. And I think the right newspaper business is recognizing this. We just need our voices heard. All right, guys. Well, anyway, thank you so much for subscribing, and thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.